This is a discussion that I am having with my co-author, Zochi, and about the book Transformation Tai Chi, the 90-second mind-body practice integrating Tai Chi and yoga to maintain, manage stress, and unlock your potential. My co-author is Zochi, sitting next to me here, who planted the seed, laid the groundwork for the evolution of this practice and this book. I'm very honored to have him here visiting us at this retreat site in Costa Rica. And there's a lovely group of people who have come to join us in this experience. So after we talk a little bit, Zochi and I, about the evolution of this book, then we'll be happy to do some signing.
And taking some questions.
Taking some questions.
Okay. So good afternoon. Welcome to our first book signing together.
Very first.
Yes. So this would be a really great experience. You can ask us questions about the book. We'll make some comments as we go back and forth. Just give you a little bit of background. I've been doing Tai Chi or the internal arts for about 40-something years. And so traveling throughout Asia, doing yoga and Tai Chi, Qigong, and other. I'm also an acupuncturist that I don't really put out a lot because I'm more interested in what happens internally when we're doing movement. And also, I also teach embodied practices. So, yeah, that's me.
So one of the things that's remarkable about this book is that when Zochi was living in Ethiopia, and I'm in California, and we kind of shared ideas back and forth halfway around the world. But it's been an evolutionary process. Zochi has his own book, some of his own writings and his own illustrations, very impressive. But this came about because I was learning from Zochi, but as over the years, I started to modify and add to what he had taught me because I felt that I was gaining so much internally myself from doing this practice and then demonstrating it and teaching it a little bit, and there became an increasing awareness of how the somatic practice that this is, a somatic meditation, how this actually works and changes what goes on in your mind. Just for example, one of the movements is sharing. And I found myself thinking more about sharing. And I going, oh, yeah, I'm thinking about reset, some of the other things. So it was this evolution. And one of the beautiful things, I want you to read that one section about not doing the same.
Oh, well, I can actually don't have to read it. I know it. So just a little bit, what I should have done is really thank my teachers that have come before me. I've had some excellent teachers. T.Y. Pang was my main Tai Chi teacher. He was a professor in college as well as a professor in Tai Chi. He studied with the masters themselves, and it was actually his touch and that really is the spark that what Bud is talking about. Because he would always say, if you're doing Tai Chi the same way every day, you're not doing Tai Chi, right? So in context, even if you're doing the same movement, that you should be doing something different. And I think that's really the spark. And I also want to thank my teacher, Angel Kiddo Williams, because I began this journey where we're at now when I was living in a Zen practice place. And Angel Kiddo Williams, she helped guide me and helped me change my way of thinking, and so introduced me to Mu as it was initially taught with just the Chinese number. Each movement was only a number. The teacher who originated Mu took the traditional form, simplified it for the Buddhist community or the Zen community. I want to change that. It's more Zen than Buddhism, and Zen is a mixture of Taoist philosophy and Buddhism that come together. So she would, it's like when I got introduced to that, then having a previous background in Tai Chi, then I started thinking, and other experience, I started thinking about you and watching students, the detachment to the numbers or the detachment to a foreign language, right? And the affirmations came into play as a component of getting people more engaged, finding something that all of us can relate to. So, what was the one you were talking about?
The saying here.
No. The sample that you just gave about
Oh, sharing.
sharing, right?
Yeah.
So sharing and actually building an affirmation around that. So
This pushing out
right,
sense. You gather in and then you push out. And you don't push out with a straight arm, you push out with a spinning arm, and you are thinking. You're thinking about what you are sharing and who you're sharing and your balance. Are you sharing? Are you making too much of an effort to satisfy everybody or to making your own life deprived by oversharing? So be in balance and push out. And that really affected me.
right. So like for myself, the Mu which is the foundation art, moving obstacles out of the way, right? We all have obstacles. We know what they are, but we don't. It's not somatic. So we think about, worry about this, then actually we have an action that we can do, and then turning the body facing forward before you advocate, right? So now it's like facing what is in front of you. You've moved the articles out of the way. You have a clean slate, and then advocating for what you want without aggression. So having that element of constantly remembering, it's like, oh yeah, I too have obstacles. Oh, I want to move them out of the way, and we can name what those obstacles are, and then we can advocate on a clear slate that those things are not pulling at us, right? The messy desk, the unmade bed, the the bad relationship. Once we clear that, then those things aren't pulling on us. And then we can face what we want, because having an intention, which is really the string that ties everything together, having a single intention without the information on the side constantly pulling at you, the universe understands it, and then you can materialize it. It comes forth. But if you're like, oh, I got to clean my house, or I didn't make up my bed today, um, then all of those things are pulling on your intention. So you can't, well, why didn't things get done? I had a whole day, I had a long list, and I didn't get anything done because everything is pulling for you. So the somatic movement of moving things out of the way, clearing the path, facing what you want, and then doing it without aggression, without anger, and being able to stand in your power is really important.
So I'd also like to talk about the illustrations in here. Uh, we made a real effort to make sure they're gender neutral, age neutral, culture, background, ethnicity, and there's an evolution. Priscilla Soros, wonderful artist, had some great ideas, and that was kind of a seed was planted on how we're going to do these illustrations. so that everybody feels comfortable. It's not just an old Chinese man who does this. That these can be young women, there can old men, whatever. And the way one of the real contributions is in the very beginning, where Zochi wrote this section about balance and getting your head right on your shoulders. So the deeper part of Tai Chi, which I think I didn't completely include in this book. We're going to do a second edition, which will include more of the scientific basis for the benefits of a somatic movement type meditation, and the physiology, the brain, how the brain is affected and changed. So we're going to be kind of augmenting this over time. Uh, Maybe since you are going to be going back to Ethiopia right away, maybe we could work on this a little bit.
Yeah, we have some, and that, those who were in the class today, or taking the class, alignment, right, is that we are a conduit for this energy force, the invisible energy force. The longer we are aligned and allowing how our body is back to a natural state, then we can bring that energy in, and it's everlasting. We find we don't need enough, we don't need too much sleep, right? That we can shake off the things that happen to us in the course of the day. So aligning, widening. I talk about that when we're practicing this lengthening with dignity, right? And then also deepening with integrity. So there are definitely key words that we don't under, it's normally not explained. It is in the Chinese Taoist philosophy and so forth. But when you're just taking a class that's a half hour long or 45 minutes, to be fair to teachers, they don't have enough time, right? And then people pop in and out. California, you got a cornucopia of meditations, mindfulness, yoga, somatic, right? And you're trying to sample it. So these teachings don't normally go across. You don't, unless you're actually a trainer, right? Or going through a train-to-training program. So widening, creating a presence that's bigger than yourself, right? And then also deepening, being present, forward, back, centered around an intention that is inclusive of oneself as well as larger than oneself. And this is something that through years of practice, once I started introducing intention and then having the students actually stating their intention out loud, is like one of the senior citizens says, well, I'm doing this Tai Chi so I can be of good health, and that I can actually share with my grandchildren and be here longer so I can enjoy them, right? So now you have something that you have an anchor that keeps you in place, that gives you more motivation versus, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm doing this movement, but why am I doing this movement, right? And then you move on to something else. But if you have an anchor with intention, that it's constantly coming back to the single point.
So my Tai Chi experience was started about 1979, and just seeing somebody doing it. And what is that? That was novel to me. And then later on, Susie Wong in Honolulu, I took some classes from her. Later on, a teacher in Seattle. Later on, I spent a year in China getting up every morning and doing this with different groups. There would be some small groups, and then later on they say, "Oh, you really need to study under this master." And so I've had many teachers, but the one teacher that has really transformed my understanding of the importance is the man right next to me here. This Zochi's, he's planted a seed, and part of it is because of the presence that he brings to the actual practice of Tai Chi. His sense of the fullness and the balance and the broadening that goes on in you. You go like, oh, I can be broader. I can be more back. Gee whiz, I can be better balanced. And so I'm, great credit to you, sir, really. And you see, the one other thing I want to kind of talk about is we got some people who are professional psychologists, some blobs, and they have incorporated this into, it's 90 seconds. It's a, it's this is not a full class. You get up what I do is I get up in the morning, stand right beside my bed before I do anything else, and for a minute and a half, I go through this practice. It's a minute and a half. This is not being elegant, every movement exactly right, but I want to have gathering wisdom, health and relationships and prosperity in my mind. I want to have sharing in my mind. I want to be receiving. I want to use both my left brain and my right brain and the wisdom of my gut to make decisions throughout the day. I want to just kind of like, okay, this is the form that I'm going to interact with people, interact with life with. So the 90-second part is what I feel is an important addition to this, because not everybody has got who has 5 minutes anymore. So when you're this is when you're kind of in that the autonomic nervous system part of the brain where you're kind of setting your intentions, as he's talking about. You can set your intention. Oh, today I know I'm going to be writing, or today I know I have to meet these people about business, and you set your intention. Okay, that's going to be my day, but I'm going to do everything within this 20 different simple little movements. And I want to say the best movement of all is the one at the end where you turn to the side and you enjoy your day. And I can't help it, but I smile every time I go like, oh yeah, I am going to enjoy my day,
I mean, so that is definitely one of the nice things about this particular book. It's giving you permission to actually stop and set your parameters and out of your busy day, right? There's lots of Tai Chi places out there and, free classes and so forth. But it seems like you're locked in and you don't have permission to get what you need. And it's one of the characteristics of training in the 21st century is that we're such on the go that we get lost in our practices and so forth. So even the things that we think are going to free us, we get locked in because we think our meditation has to be a half hour. Oh, I can't do that. Or, where it can be 5 minutes, or it can be 3 seconds when you're sitting behind the steering wheel, right? So I like to call that rocks to islands. Sometimes you have to go along the pathway, and the pebbles are small until you get to the large part. And then with the affirmations that you put in here to remind you to reset, right? To stop and breathe and just be there and reset. And since you have a variety of movements, if you decide, hey, well, okay, I know I can do this in 90 minutes, but I got 30 minutes, an hour, or there's something happening in your life that I just need this one single movement, right? One single movement. And I step into that movement grounded, and that sets the tempo for the rest of my day, right? So, yeah.
So I wanted one of the things I didn't really elaborate too much on. Mu Yi, the seed that planted, is 10 movements.
Yeah.
And as over the years, as I was doing this, well, he was traveling around the world doing wellness work in different places. Movements were added, and somehow it stuck at 20. But when I first met him, it was all about doing Tai Chi 108. And the mala we have here are beads, 108 beads. Do you have a spontaneous comment about 108?
No, 108 really is a really magical and scientific number. And there's a lot. I mean, it relates to the stars, the distance between the Earth and the Moon. There are a lot of different things about the 108. In fact, I'm putting together a program to have 108 Ethiopians dressed in their ethnic attire, and we're going to all move together. So, as a magical number, just having a 108. So it's a good number, yeah.
There's some mathematical stuff, the number of things that will divide into 108.
Right. Yeah, then you got that one.
You know, there's a lot of history of that 108.
Right.
And one of the meditations I do, a breathing meditation, is 108. 108 in breath, out breath. And that takes about 10 minutes. I do it in bed, laying there, and I can count just by slightly moving. Now I got 10, so I, practicing staying mindful, but there's a lot. 20, I don't know. Later on, maybe I should have done 21. No, but there's already Tai Chi 21. Oh, there's Tai Chi 24. Well, it just 20 movements. That's what I got stuck on.
And the thing is so Tai Chi origins are different and meeting a different goal, right? And where transform is going after a particular, it's in this present moment that is being developed in this contemporary world, right? So if you look at classical Chinese Tai Chi, the movements be, for example, instead of moving obstacles out of the way, it's brush knee and hit. Well, that doesn't relate to anything today, right? So just changing the movement to mean move obstacles out of the way and then bringing that energy forward, right? Or reset. So reset, that wouldn't even have a name in Chinese. It's just bringing your fists ready to strike or whatever. So here you're deliberately stopping and resetting your entire body, though, and aligning with the universe, lengthening, grounding, all of that in a moment, in a single moment as a practice. And then you're carrying that through the contemporary life that you have. And so you remember, it's like I'm always trying to be conscious. I could sit like this, right? Nobody would say anything, but no, I have to have my feet grounded, my back is straight, I'm paying attention, I'm being mindful. That is the practice. Training is what we do in the schools or on the beach, but when we're interacting with individuals, that's where transformation really uh, is beneficial to the participant because it's giving you individual practices or the whole thing that you can do over a period of time using affirmation and embodied movement.
So maybe this is a time when we can take some questions. You can please address the master here.
Which one?
Gotta use the mic if you want to questions.
I'm the Sheila. I know where I am.
They're asking to take a little break, so just for and then ask questions.